Has anyone tried to fit a 6'6" surfboard through the boot to the back of the front seats? I'm about 5'10", and I got about a foot to go, so yeah, probably no problem. What's up, YouTube? About a week and a half into owning my baby here, and I've been getting a lot of really good questions, a lot of really great support from you guys. So I'm going to take this time today to answer some of the questions that you posted online and just a little bit more of a second impressions of how I like the car so far. So let's get started. Now, one thing I was really concerned about when switching from my 2011 to my 2016 was going from a hatch to a sedan. I was worried I wouldn't be able to fit as much stuff as I would like to. But my biggest concern was that I like to do a little bit of detailing on the side as a nice little side job. And I have a lot of detailing equipment, and I want to make sure that it would fit. Well, thankfully, I have absolutely no problem. In fact, I can even stand a 5-gallon bucket up all the way to the back to where the seats touch, and then of course the seats fold down and you can fit pretty much anything you want, even a surfboard. One of you posted a comment saying that the 2016s get a slightly less gas mileage percentage than the 2015, and that can probably be attributed to these beautiful beauties right here. They are 18s instead of the 17s that came in the 2015, and even though they were the STI wheels, they probably are a bit heavier and just take a little bit more for the WRX to push them through. So that could probably be the reason, but I'm averaging 27.9 miles per gallon combined, and that seems to be the magical number online that most people are averaging. So in real world numbers, probably not a big enough difference to notice from the 18s to the 17s. Now, something I've noticed is that this car isn't necessarily low, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see in there, but the downpipe and all the plastics are very, very low. They're actually lower than these side panels on the car. So what I found is that I'm actually scraping when I pull into my driveway of my apartment complex. And it's just a standard little lip that you'd see on any sort of driveway or anything like that. But it definitely sucks every time you hear that crunch and that creak of some sort of plastic or metal just catching the curb. Now, if you watched my first video, you'll know that I was super pumped to get the side turn signals and built into the side mirrors. And somebody asked if that came with the CVT Premium, and unfortunately it does not. And I believe the only way you can get these is either getting by the limited with navigation with the manual or the limited navigation with the CVT. Now, one of the reasons that I got the limited with the navigation package is that it also came with keyless access, which was really nice, so you could just keep your keys, your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the car, and it would unlock for you. And then with a touch of a button, it locks. But what happens if you have passengers or you have something in the back seat and you don't really necessarily want to get into the front seat? Doesn't work. Now, to be fair, there is a way to change that in the settings in your little center stack to where instead of opening just the driver's door, it'll actually open up all four. The next thing you guys keep commenting about is this fake carbon fiber. And I've been getting a lot of comments saying that at least in the 2015s that it is actually a real carbon fiber or fiber material. And I wanna believe you guys, and maybe I just don't know what carbon fiber looks like, but let's take a closer look at this stuff. There we go, now it's focused. You see what I mean? It just doesn't look like it's actual fibers overlapping. It looks more of a print than anything. Next is the reverse lockout in this car. Now, I mentioned in my first video that it was a little bit tricky for me to get it into 6th or where 6th is and pull up on the reverse lockout. I will say that it is getting a little bit better with time, and maybe it's just muscle memory, but it is getting progressively easier and easier to do. I know it's going to be a bit hard to see from all the way back there, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the cool features that this new head unit has to offer. Now, if I do have the navigation that's a 7-inch display versus the stock unit that's a 6.2-inch display, but it should have some of the same features. One of the things that I really like is when you're in a set station like this, you have your buttons for your favorite stations on the left. Now, every single time you go to a different station, your settings are different for that one station or that one radio button. So I have 4 free months of Sirius XM that came from the factory, and I love the way it sounds. It sounds super loud, it's definitely HD, but when you switch to a station like FM, you can tell it's not as crisp. But what you can do is you can go into your settings and set your loudness and your EQ and your bass and all that kind of stuff to that particular station. That way when you switch through your stations, it's saved and it's just as loud and just as nice and just as crisp as all the other stations. Now, the downside of that is that your volumes are also different for each station. So if you're listening to one for a while and you have it turned all the way up and you want to listen to the next one and you click down, it'll have your same volume that was saved from the previous time that you were listening to it. And at the same time, if you were listening to something really loud and you switched back and you're just starting the car and you switch to the next station, it's going to be super loud and it's just going to scare the shit out of you. Now, somebody did mention online that they had a question about whether the buttons on the navigation were actually touch buttons or push buttons. Now, the buttons on the side here, they do look like they're push buttons, but they are actually touch. So anytime I touch one, it's just super responsive, super quick. Now, contrary to what my face is telling you right now, even though the interior of this car is all black and it is black leather, it actually doesn't necessarily get that hot in here. And I'm saying that coming from my fiance's BRZ, which is the black leather and suede, and damn, does it get hot in there quick, and it stays hot. But before I pass out from heat exhaustion and sweating, I am going to do the rest of this little secondary impression while driving with some air conditioning. Let's go and step back into the head unit. And I said I really liked it, and it's super responsive, and it's touch buttons and all that kind of stuff. Well, one of the features now is it has apps. So what you do is you download an application onto your phone, and you can use Pandora and iHeartRadio and AHA and everything through your head unit. If you don't have the app, you can't use that feature through your head unit, and you can't stream Pandora or iHeartRadio or any of that from your phone. And if you're like me, who has a Windows phone, well, you're shit out of luck. Apparently, the Subaru app is non-compatible with Windows devices, so eventually I'm gonna have to get a new phone or a new car. You can probably take a guess on which one I'm gonna choose. Now, something that I really like that came with the navigation and all this kind of stuff was the lane change assist, not the lane change assist, but the lane change indicator. And what that does is there are sensors in the trunk and on the side view mirrors, I believe, that when you're about to change lanes, if there's somebody in your blind spot, it's a little red light that illuminates when there's a car behind you. And it's nice by itself, and additionally, it judges speed. So if you got somebody, if say you're on the highway and you're in the right lane, you're going 60 miles an hour and you want to pass somebody, and there's somebody half a mile away from you that's doing 150 and they're coming up on your left, well, you could just assume that, okay, well, they're that far away, I have time to get over, and it could probably cause an accident. But what it does is it judges how fast the car's going, and it'll light up, letting you know that, hey, somebody's about to be on your left, like real quick. Now, I said in my first video that I was very surprised on the exhaust sound and how I really liked it. It has a nice little tone. Well, I still definitely feel that way. Of course, it is just a little bit quiet for my taste, and I will be upgrading that here hopefully soon. But something I've noticed is this car runs so smooth that if you're listening to your radio at all, you can look down and be at 4,000 RPMs and not even know it. Just everything just stays composed, and it's just like the car wants to be there. All right, guys, I'm still under factory break-in. I'm at 700 miles, but let's just feel a little bit of this twin scroll power. I cannot wait to be out of the 1,000-mile range where I can really rip on it. But all those shifts are at 4,000 RPMs. I didn't floor it, but I just gave it just enough to feel the boost kick in. And I'm so addicted. Now, something else that I didn't really notice when I first got the car, because I wasn't obviously comfortable driving it yet, is I usually drive with both hands on the wheel, but on long trips and stuff, you like to just put one hand down and kind of rest your arm. Well, you can't. The armrest in this car is set so low, and it doesn't slide forward. At least the stock version doesn't. I think you can get an upgrade from the factory. but you just kind of feel uncomfortable. You kind of feel like you're leaning real far, and on a long trip, that's definitely gonna hurt your back. Something else I've noticed is right now it is 95 degrees outside. Today has a heat index of like 105, and I have the air conditioning set. The fans are on low, but the air conditioner is as cold as it gets. And I've noticed that when you have the AC on, of course it's going to affect your power and all that kind of stuff. But in this car, it's pretty dramatic. It's a pretty dramatic change in the pedal feel. You get super spongy, and you almost have to rev to like 2200 RPMs just to get the car going from a stop. Kind of annoying, but I almost never use my air conditioning anyway. It's just, it's kind of annoying, but I almost never use my air conditioner anyway, so it's not a big deal. So yeah, guys, those are my second impressions, kind of things that I'm finding and trying to answer all of your guys' questions. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. I do this for you. And if there's anything that you have questions about, feel free to comment below. If you like the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know, and I will definitely keep content coming out for you guys. Thank you so much. Actually, today, as I'm filming this, I hit the 500 subscriber mark, which is just crazy, because like 3 months ago, I made a video where I was happy to have 17 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. You guys rock, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.